Good evening. Welcome to Doorway to the Paintings. I have a very interesting painting to show you tonight. It has a lot of elements that I put in some of my other paintings, elements that I really enjoy quite a bit. Got the blue sky. It's dark. It's still nighttime, but morning should be coming soon. You got the lightning, I think, placed in the proper area. Got the street light. You have this column, this ancient pillar type column kind of mixed in with the street light, mixing in ancient structures with modern technology a little bit. An ancient structure, those columns and those pillars. There's one here, and then obviously the trees. I like putting trees in my paintings often. The old man representing, symbolically representing wisdom, also weariness. We get tired often, so I use old men often in my paintings to represent weariness and being tired, but also as a traveler through time who's lived longer than other people and can learn and hopefully teach us lessons that he's learned in his life's journey. So let's take a closer look at this painting tonight. Yeah, definitely a painting that I enjoyed painting. Oh, about 3 years ago, I think I painted this. Maybe 2 to 3 years ago. Maybe even less. It might have even been right before the 2-year mark. But yeah, I really like this painting. I like the trees, the leaves, the little tree trunks, and this character here. I made him look kind of tired, and he's thinking. He's grabbing this foliage here. It's almost like a vine. In fact, I think it is a vine connected to other vines and leaves. Really like this painting. And this character here, he's kind of watching the old man. Then you have this column, this Greek or Roman type ancient pillar. Something majestic about those. Then you have the mountains. You got the lightning in the dark blue sky. I really like that. And you can see the sky is kind of lit up around where the lightning bolt appears. You got those dark mountains. Really like that effect. The raindrops in the background. You can see those raindrops. I really like how those look. Really makes a nice effect. You can see that black water, that dark water back there with the... You can see the street light pole, kind of the pole from the street light. Right here, right there, and of course it comes up and there's a tree foliage and branch kind of blocking the stem of the street light here, and the rain coming down. Really like that, really do. This man here, he's obviously older and he's traveled on the road of life longer than people younger than him, and hopefully he's learned lessons, and looks like he's weary, looks like he's tired. He's a symbol, he is symbolic of being weary and being tired, and also having learned different lessons in life, and maybe he's been through a lot. I wanted to give him that look as well, that he's been through a lot. Also the fact that he's skinny, kind of, it's a representation of him being in need perhaps, or maybe he's lost a lot and he's not what he used to be. But he's very interesting. I think he has a very interesting face, and I painted him to look mostly real and mixed it in with some impressionism, but this character I wanted him to be more on the realistic side, but at the same time the expression in his face gives him a bit more character and style, and he is obviously thinking deeply as he kind of ponders whatever's on his mind. His hand grabbing the vine, almost like a grab for help. Yeah, I really like this. Some people might look at it and think it's jaded, but often I paint these paintings to look like this because it's a good painting to look at, especially when you're in deep thought, especially if you're reflecting on certain things that either you want to do or things that you've been through. Could be positive, could be negative, but yeah, it's a painting that it's one of my favorites. Really like the style, and then the dark mountains really match good against the blue background. Then the lightning is a reoccurring thing that I put in my paintings. I think the rain looks pretty good, pretty realistic. I wanted that rain to look pretty real. I try not to make my paintings look like a photograph though, because I think they lose some of their charm that way, but certain things like him and his face I wanted to look rather real. And then the foliage next to the street lights, or street light, is illuminated because of the ambient kind of light coming from the little street light or street lamp. Causes a nice effect. This guy here, he's been through a lot. And he might have been different before, but now he's kind of worn and tattered. Not as much as the main character, but he's looking at our main character, probably wondering, what's this guy going through? Was he going through something I did? Something similar? Who knows? Taking another look at those trees. Yeah, I really liked painting this. It kind of reminded me of some of the trees next to where I used to work at night. Had a street light right next to these trees. Not exactly this close or like this, but very similar. And I really liked the way they looked. And some of the movies I'd seen in the past, I probably mentioned it in other videos quite a bit, but street lights next to trees, and kind of come from some of the early Halloween movies, especially part 3 and part 2, and maybe Escape from New York with some of the trees and the way John Carpenter directs in his movies. And then of course Dean Cundey, his cinematography was really great. I think that had to be subconsciously and even consciously had to be inspirations in some of the way I do my lights and my trees. They're really masters at their crafts, so I'm sure that's, in fact I know those were definitely some of the influences on this painting, and of course others, and there's inspirations behind these ancient Greek columns and pillars that I put in my paintings. I think I mentioned it in another video where Halloween 3, there's a character running underneath an overpass at the beginning of the movie carrying a Halloween mask, and he's running, and it reminded me of ancient Greek columns, the way the overpass looked with the columns, the support columns holding it up. That's what it kind of reminded me of, so I think that influenced me to put another one in here. But I like, I like them anyway. Even if I didn't see the movie, I'd probably have them in here because I like those ancient Greek columns, Roman columns. But that movie those movies inspired me all the more, influenced me all the more. Yeah, I was probably tired myself when I painted this painting. Don't know for sure, but you know, there's a lot of depth to this painting and a lot of my other paintings. I often think about the water and this guy here, and when you look at the water, you can look into it and see almost whatever you want to see, whatever you're concentrating on. Maybe he's looking into the abyss, and hopefully the abyss is not looking back, but you can meditate, focus, and concentrate on that water. And almost looks like a whirlpool, maybe like another dimension to an underground world or the underworld. I often, when I paint these, I get really deep and think about that, like the water could be an opening to the underworld. It could be another way in, a gateway of sorts, a doorway to the underworld, doorway to the paintings, doorway to another dimension. What could be down there? I think that's another reason I often paint these types of paintings, because it puts me in that mode of thought, that train of thought. They're not just paintings, they're symbols. I gave him a purple shirt. Purple is often a comfortable color in terms of your mind. I don't know about your mind, but many people's minds are comforted by the color purple. And that's what I wanted in this painting. I purposely gave him that color because I heard a long time ago, it's a comfortable, relaxing color and gets people wanting to stay in places or feel comfortable around places that have the color purple. I can smell the night air. Breathing the night air. A little bit of a shine here from the light, I think. If I tilt the painting like that, there's not as much shine. Maybe I'll just move it to the right a little bit. It's a little darker now, but it's supposed to be a dark painting at nighttime, so it kind of suits it. This is characteristic of quite a few of the paintings that I've painted in the past because it has various elements in it that I've used in other paintings. It's definitely a painting that is among my top paintings that I personally really like and enjoy. The trees are a little, maybe just the trunks are maybe just a tad thinner than I wanted them originally. But sometimes when I get painting, I just get a little off a little bit of my original vision. But that's okay. I like how it turned out here. This character's barefoot in the rain and maybe standing in a puddle. You know, another thing subconsciously that I have in my mind when I paint paintings like this, it's almost like, remember the weariness that I talked about earlier with this character? This is kind of a painting that's symbolic of, okay, I'm just so tired of the way certain things are in my life, and I'm sick of it, and I'm just kind of throwing everything down and just going to be free, forget this. Maybe that's why I had this character with no shoes on, standing in a wet place, and maybe this character here is looking the way he does because they kind of threw it all down, whatever might be bothering them, and they just figured, you know, just going to live free. I'm not going to depend on certain things anymore to make me happy. Just say to heck with this or that. And in a way, I get that kind of vibe from this painting. There's the lightning, there's the rain coming down, and you know what? I'm happy and I don't care. I enjoy it. I can smell the night air and feel good about it. That's another way to look at this painting. Hope you guys like looking at this one with me. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing if you like this video. And hit the bell so you can be notified. And I'll be back with you soon. And like this video if you like it. And good night, everyone. I'll be back with another edition of Doorway to the Paintings after midnight.